Welcome back. This is hour 3 of Roleplay Blades. We just completed sort of what we've been doing for the last episode and a half. XP has been awarded, and now a new chapter begins. Or
Indeed.
continues. Depending on how you look at it. John, take us away.
Yeah. You guys escaped the trap, escaped the fallout from whatever happened there. Ritual magic nonsense, ghosts of vengeance, etc., etc. You have a chance to move into downtime if anyone wants to indulge in downtime. What happens in the world immediately following this, the spirit wardens, they come back to Brightstone. They were driven off by an angry mob led by Miss Cataby a little while ago. But an emergency team is once again sent in. They have to break through. This is all like word on the street stuff. You guys go back to the lair. It's been a day and a night or something like that. They had to fight their way through barricades. Citizens of Brightstone and from other districts had come to oppose the spirit wardens, but they broke through and they've cordoned off the cathedral. They've shuttered it. The rumors flying around are that the church they burned that witch a few weeks ago, and there was the riot over it that Cataby kind of led, and people are starting to say that the church must be behind everything, or maybe it's the spirit wardens. People aren't really sure. The tide of rebellion is rising. You can feel it on the street. Your friends are talking about it. This Cataby, I'm sure if you're indulging your vice or doing anything, we'll see some more of that with you. But you're just hearing it constantly everywhere. And there's people that are out of place on the streets of Brightstone. It's normally like well-to-do nobility going about in their coaches and with their footmen and their servants. And now there's like rougher types prowling around. There's alleyways that are filled with trash and debris, like Les Mis style, like barricades and stuff that people are putting up. Spirit warden was beaten and strung up, not killed, and strung up as an example. So the whole mood of the district and the city at large is getting more tense and more on edge with all this stuff that's been going down. Supposedly demons are loose. Supposedly ghosts are through the barrier. Supposedly the spirit wardens are behind it, or the church is behind it, or no one knows where to turn or who to trust. Shit's getting serious. So in this climate of potential revolution, does anyone have a downtime action they want to pursue while you have a chance?
Do we get 2 full ones now, or because the spirit wardens are back but not established, maybe, or what?
Yeah, you get 2 actions again. They're not
Cool.
interfering with you in that way yet.
What do you have for current stress right now for me? 4?
Let me double check. I have 4, yes.
Okay.
I have me at a 3, but I thought I saw you had me higher or something like that, or what?
I had you at 2 for some reason, but 3 seems right.
Okay. I think I pushed myself to 3, so I think we're accurate on that. Okay. Then I'll just spend my 2 actions training stuff, I guess.
Okay.
Just train insight a couple times. So I'm up there reading my books.
You have to do 2 different ones when you train twice.
Oh, it's 2 different ones. So 1 in insight and 1 in resolve, I guess.
Okay. And you guys get 2 XP when you do that, I think, because you have the advances for the crew. Let me double check, but that's right. Yes.
Oh, yeah. 2 instead of 1. I got you.
Yep, right. You get 2 XP in insight and 2 in resolve, did you say?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I'm only at 3 stress, so I don't need to do any of that. And then you said we upgraded our crew, so what do we get for that?
You guys can choose. You can get a 2-box upgrade, which would be like adding a cohort like the Knights, or you could get a new special ability for the crew.
So mechanically speaking, I'm sorry, I know we've asked this before, but say we did add the Knights, what does that do for us other than... Because I can already command them,
Extra people to fight with.
Yeah, it means that they're not just a thing that the church loaned you, and that you know there's just 2 of them left, and that's all you've got. If you take them officially as a cohort, the church will send you 6 more knights. You'll have a full team, and you'll have like a actual contingent of knights that are officially part of the last. Officially part of the last word, and you could do whatever, and you'll have to tell me like what you do to make them yours / the last words, as opposed to them being church knights, hollows. Maybe there's a thing you do to change ownership or something.
Okay. What do you guys think about that? Does that sound good?
I'm fine with that.
Yeah. I would like. I'm going to use my GM prerogative here, Jeff. When Careless floats this idea to the group, how do you describe the ownership and control of this new cohort for the crew? I'd like to hear how you pitch it. I mean, we like. What does he actually say?
I think the knights like constantly follow me around, and while I'm in the library, I think that's really cool. So I let them do that, as opposed to like. If for whatever reason I go outside or something like that, I don't have the knights flanking me at all times type of thing.
Right.
But we're sitting in the main room, and I'm just like, we could make these guys a fixture of our group. I am still in touch with the church. They would be more than willing to make them an asset that we could use for the extra muscle. Of course, that is a lot of power at our hands, and they do mostly respond to me, but I would like to say they could also... Well, they'll serve our interests combined. I think if we're to take on the Hive in particular, we're going to need knights doing some dirty work for us. It's fair to bring up that they do respond to me, and I understand that's intimidating, so I want people to understand everything.
John, are these knights, the armor that they wear and stuff like that, is it elaborate? Is it nice? Is it well constructed? Or is it like dirty and rusted?
No, it's super nice. It's like...
Okay.
But it's ancient design. They look like medieval. Well, I keep picturing them as the Silver Knights from Dark Souls, like the full face mask and the tight fitting armor. But in the world of Blades in the Dark, they look like they're out of a fable or a storybook or something. They look like these majestic knights of old kind of thing. So they're very conspicuous, but yeah, they're super finely crafted armor, shields, and swords.
Okay. So I say to Careless, well, I think they'd make a pretty good decoration around here, and they could probably guard the entrances. And I don't think anyone could tell the difference unless they moved. So I think they'd be good guard dogs, with no offense to Myth, of course.
Yes, but just for full openness on the subject, because you and I have a pact where I'm never going to lie to you, they can, of course, guard the library, and that is certainly true, and they can remain fairly ambiguous, although fully suited, polished knights is not a super common thing in libraries, as I understand it. They'll do so much more for us, although they will be able to operate outside. They'll be muscle, essentially. They'll, of course, nowhere near your actual girth. They just, when I say muscle, it's a term that I've recently learned and read about. Think of them as weapons.
Now, quick question. Do we see like these guys, these knights, kind of walking around anyway, out in the streets and stuff?
You probably haven't. No, they're very, very rare.
Okay, then I just say, well, my only thing is, if we walk around with these guys, it's gonna, set off alarms in people's heads. I'm just saying, like, I think they'd be good for here, and then maybe in case of emergencies.
I think Careless looks at you, nods, tries to look as serious as he can with a huge smile, and just looks around the room and says, yes, we'll only in emergencies use them. I think that's totally fine.
Emergency murders only.
Yeah. Right. Okay.
So, Jeff, is Careless at all serious or legit in any way about this co-ownership of the Knights thing, or is that just kind of words and You're
He
not
doesn't lie
trying to,
anymore. Not to these people, but he was being pretty like dodgy about it in the sense that they will be ours, but he kept saying that they respond to me.
so you're not lying to the team. Does anyone on the team care? Like, does anyone have demands? Do you want to say like, no, you need to make it so we can all command them, or are you like, nah, whatever, he can command them, we don't care.
Don't care.
Don't care.
I'm
Okay.
good.
Cadby, you're good with that?
I'm fine. Yeah.
Okay. So unless Careless gives them specific orders otherwise, they follow Careless's orders. That's their current setting, so to speak. Now Whispers, magical shit can do stuff to hollows, so that's separate. But yeah, currently anything you tell the knights to do, Careless has to like give them the okay to do it.
I could also command him to listen to other people, though.
You totally can. Yeah. You can change their setting if you want to. So when you create a cohort, you choose its type. I think this is pretty obvious that they are, in the language of the game, they are thugs, which is killers. That's their primary thing. So I will put them down as thugs. Scale and quality equal to your current crew tier, blah, blah, blah. Increases in scale. They are fine quality, so they get +1. Or elite is what it's called for cohorts. And you can choose. So by default, there's edges and flaws that cohorts and experts can have. You can take 1 or 2 edges with an equal number of flaws. So by default, they don't have any special qualities except they're hollow. So that's a thing. The edges you can choose from are fearsome. The cohort is terrifying in aspect or reputation. They can be independent. The cohort can be trusted to make good decisions and act on their own initiative in the absence of direct orders. Probably not independent. Loyal. The cohort can't be bribed or otherwise manipulated. Or tenacious. The cohort can't be deterred from a task. So these are edges. These are like actual edges. The fact that they're hollow still counts. Like you don't have to take loyal per se. Hollows can't be bribed anyway. But if you do take loyal, I'll treat that very seriously. Like if a Whisper tried to take control of them, I'll be like, well, you took loyal, so it's going to be really hard to turn the hollows against you. So fearsome, independent, loyal, or tenacious are the edges you can choose from.
I think loyal.
You want loyal?
Like you said, they have a lot of those qualities anyways, so I think that's nice. But if we're going to double down on something, making it so that they're reliably on our side is the best, probably.
Yeah, that'll make it a lot harder for someone to control them. And then flaws. So you've chosen an edge, so you can choose a flaw. Principled. The cohort has an ethic or value that it won't betray. Savage. The cohort is excessively violent and cruel. Unreliable. The cohort isn't always available due to other obligations or something like that. Or wild. The cohort is drunken, debauched, and loudmouthed.
Give me another edge. They're obviously going to be vicious or whatever that was.
Savage.
Yeah.
I'm seeing 2 edges.
No, they're violent. Oh.
What would we do?
It is a flaw, but yeah, I can see how you would enjoy it.
Whoa.
Loyal and savage, perfect.
One man's flaw is another Whisper's strength.
That's right. Okay, a cohort of elite Hollow Knights has been added to the last word. Nice.
Sweet.
Whee!
Okay. Who else? Was that your downtime, Jeff?
Yeah.
Did you do yours?
Well done.
Okay, cool. I'm going to indulge my vice because I'm at 6 stress.
That is a good idea.
6.
Ooh, man.
Perfect.
Nailing the vice rolls.
I mean, I overindulged the last time, so.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, that's right.
That's technically. I did that, and then I want to do. I want to attack one of these clocks that I've got.
Yeah.
I have one that's an 8-segment clock for discovering a weakness of Lord Scurlock.
Mm.
So what do I roll for that? Fortune?
You can use one of your actions. What?
Oh, attune.
Like, yeah. You tell me how you want to go about it, and then we can make a roll.
Attune.
Attune. What power, entity, or force would you like to attune to discover a weakness of Lord Scurlock?
Well, so we know that he is a vampire, right?
You definitely know that. Yeah, it's not
Yep.
common knowledge, but yeah, you know that.
Okay, so I don't know what kind of force would I attune to, or like what kind of spirit, I guess.
Yeah, you could ghosts see a lot of stuff, right? They're like the informants of the city in a way. So if you wanted, you could try to attune to a ghost, compel a ghost to come and like.
Who the Dimmer sisters know of Lord Scurlock?
Oh, the Dimmer
Use
sisters.
my friendship with them.
You could totally.
So I could get some sweet drugs, go to the Dimmer sisters' house.
If you consort with them instead of attuning, I'll give you bonus die because they're your friends and increased effect.
Okay, cool. I will consort with the Dimmer sisters. What's my position?
It is currently controlled. This is the first time you're going after this clock.
Mm-hmm.
So there's no risk to you at this point. And for a lot of long-term projects like this, they're not necessarily risky. This one could become risky, obviously, but it currently isn't. Currently, you're going and talking to them about Lord Scurlock, right? Like, what do you guys know about him? What's his deal? That kind of thing. Okay. Yeah.
I imagine that ancient powers usually know about other ancient powers, kind of.
Yes, indeed. Yes, they do.
So controlled. My effect.
Great effect because
Cool.
of your
One bonus.
And one bonus die because they're your friend. Yep.
6.
Nice.
Damn.
So you can take
All the
three.
So I
Take
get
three
how
on your
many?
clock.
3?
3 ticks.
Sweet.
Yep. Yeah. So I think we cut in to you having tea with Lucille, the Dimmer sister, in their front room there, and she's setting her teacup down and she purses her lips and adjusts her granny hair bun, and she looks at you with these kind eyes. Oh dearie, Lord Scurlock. We were so hoping that you would let that go. But I understand. She pats your hand. You know what they say about him, that he's a vampire. And she kind of grins, like she knows that you know that, but she's saying it in this like, ooh, it's fun, that he's a vampire. Mm-hmm. She scratches Myth behind the ear and she says, if I were hunting a vampire, I would find where he feeds and what he feeds on. Each vampire, you see, has a distinctive mark that they leave on their victims. They're forever bound to them, in fact. And she reaches out. There's a table with the tea service and the cookies and stuff. She slides a little notebook over and flips a page and draws with a pen. She draws this symbol, this ancient Hadrathi mark. On the back of the neck it is. You'll see it in the ghost field, dearie, if you look. If I were you, I would start looking in White Crown. Lord Scurlock, he prefers a high-class kind of victim. Not the low-born. The richest of the nobility. You go there, look for this mark, you'll find them. And once you do, you'll be able to get at him through them.
Cool. Sorry, I'm just like typing this out. Can I like rip off the page?
Yeah, she'll let you take it.
Yeah, so I like rip it off and like put it in my bag. And I thank them for the tea. And then Myth and I make our way downtown, walking fast, pieces fast. And then I just go back to the like hideout with my information.
Cool. Yeah, so you made good progress. You've got a lead, but like how to make him vulnerable, yeah, you haven't quite cracked it. So when that clock is full, you'll be able to hit him harder.
Yeah.
Cool. Anybody else? Downtime activities?
Yeah. I definitely want to hop in on that. Sorry, I've got to. I definitely need to indulge for sure.
Yes.
I need to figure out if like I also work towards my establishment or do something with the artifacts. And
I should tell you something when you go gambling. Do you do your usual gambling circuit, play some cards and so forth?
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, if you go to your normal haunts, I think it's one of the card rooms that you play at. While you're playing, you notice that someone's like kind of looking at you, not giving you the stink eye. You're well versed in the language of the underworld here,
Right.
It's not menacing. It's just someone is like kind of looking at you with some degree of admiration, and you notice that they leave the card room, and then they come back with someone else, and they both kind of look over and they have this little whispered conversation. And then when you leave, or you're getting up to leave and go outside, there's a group of people waiting outside, a group of citizens. Let's make your vice roll first to see how you can clear your stress.
Take a vice roll, then we'll kill you. That's all. So that's overindulge.
That is overindulge. Now I have 2 overindulgences to spend. I have runes from before and yours. So when you overindulge, you guys, you can choose how your character overindulges. I kind of took Anne's on my own because I had an idea for what it is, and it has to do with more sort of enigmatic, mysterious shit. In this case, Marcus, I think it makes sense for you to just pick.
Take heat.
Sorry?
Isn't taking heat?
Yeah. You can choose how your character reacts. So you can sort of talk about your exploits to some degree, which is +2 heat for the crew. You can become lost in your vice, which I assume you don't want to do.
Yeah.
Or you can get tapped out, like you lose access to this vice purveyor because you run up too big a debt or something, and they're like, you can't play here anymore, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I'll just take the heat.
Or you can get an additional entanglement on the crew. You attract some kind of problem, which I could roll into what's happening right now, potentially with this group of people, or you can just take the heat. It's up to you.
I'll just take the heat.
Okay, +2 heat. Just out of curiosity, when you're talking about the exploits here while you're playing cards, what part of the operation do you blab about while you're playing?
Maybe it's actually not a part of our overall exploits, but like after winning a bit and maybe knocking back a few pints of ale,
Mm-hmm.
I actually talk about how, I have this friend. She can make tornadoes happen in the middle of nowhere, just out of nowhere. Because this is like the 3rd time I've seen it, like way more comfortable with it, and I'm just bragging your friend's exploits. Yeah.
One of them is like, "Oh, don't just start. You've had too much. You've had too much, Cataby." And the guy next to him is like, "No. I've heard about this. I heard about this. The dockers, they all got killed. They got burned down in a building. There was a storm that did it." And the guy's like, "That's just a rumor. That doesn't happen. Give me a break." The guy's like, "No, that was you. Was that you? Did your friend kill the dockers?"
Of course not. That was nothing more than an arson, I'm sure. This is a majestic thing. It's beautiful. You've never seen anything like it.
The first guy is like,
Yeah, pull the other one, Cataby. Pull the other one.
but the credulous guy, his eyes are wide, and he's like, you're trying to say no, 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 and you can tell that he's like, oh shit. Those guys with the murderers.
It's maybe my cue to leave. So yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna head
So
out.
when you go outside, there's this group of citizens. You recognize a couple of them from your stump speech out in Brightstone Plaza a little while ago when you were rallying everybody. Does Miss Cataby wear a distinctive? I should just look at her art. You've got this coat with your lapels and your vest and your hat and everything. Do you wear anything? Do you ever wear a flower? Or do you wear a distinctive? The hat's pretty distinctive, I guess. Is there something, if someone wanted to emulate some aspect of Miss Cataby's appearance, is there anything obvious that they might choose as an item besides the hat?
I see what you're saying.
I suppose could be that. Could be the green vest, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, sure.
The green vest, is that okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. So these people, they're all wearing green vests under their coats, and they like unbutton them so you can see them when you come out. And one of them has his hat in his hands and he's looking kind of nervous. And he says, "Oh, begging your pardon, Miss Cataby, ma'am. Begging your pardon. I just we've been hearing a lot of things, and we're getting a bit nervous." And he kind of looks at his friends, and they're kind of like, "Go on, then, go on."
What are you nervous about?
Like, well, there's been a lot of talk, and we just don't know what to think. I mean, what do you think we should do? Is it the church? Are they the problem?
And a few of them look like they want that to be the answer. They're like, "Yeah, let's get them." And he's like, "Is it spirit wardens? Is it demons or ghosts? Or just tell us what to do."
I think I chuckle at first, and I'm like, "Oh, you're actually serious." Maybe there's a sense of surprise out of all of this.
No, they're super serious. Yeah.
And then I say, "Well, gentlemen, you cannot be making any hasty decisions. There's definitely things going on, but you need to await my word." And then maybe suddenly I go into the stump speech mode again, where it's like our power's in numbers, and if we act independently, we're all going to be acting against ourselves. So keep fighting the good fight and wait until you hear our word. And then I just kind of look like I don't know if that was the right thing to do, but I look back at them and like, "Do you understand?"
You want to make a consort roll?
Sure.
And I can decide how they react if you don't want to make the roll, but if you do, then you can influence them here.
No, I'm gonna make the consort roll.
Consort, it's controlled. Or no, I think there is a risk. It's risky.
Okay.
But it's great effect. They are just hanging on your every word for instructions.
All right. And wow.
3.
Wow.
Can't believe you
Yikes.
farted mid-speech like that.
Wow.
Well, you're a little bit intoxicated, or
I am.
I mean, I don't know how much you care about this roll, Marcus. Technically, your foresight dice have reset. If you want to burn one, you can. But otherwise,
This roll actually is important to me. I will burn. Maybe it's as I'm reaching the tail end, I feel like I don't have them as I had them before, and I go for one more.
Now, I also have a devil's bargain, which I didn't get to before the roll there. I usually we do them before, but it's okay. We can do it now.
Tell me, what is it?
The devil's bargain is that they are going to take this as tacit agreement that, yes, you are the leader of the Green Vests or whatever the fuck they're going to call themselves. And it's going to be a thing. They're gonna carry on creating this citizens movement or whatever, because apparently their leader that they've decided is you is giving them the go ahead. It's okay, just wait for my commands. I'm your leader now, and they're gonna take that
right. So also, does connected work on this?
Oh yeah, well, tell me what does it say?
During downtime, you get a +1 result level when you acquire assets, gather info, or reduce heat rolls. So I don't know if this technically qualifies as any of those.
Technically, no, not at the moment. No.
But also, I do have weaving the web. You gain +1 to consort when you gather information on a target for. No, that's not it. Too.
Nope,
You get +1 to engage. No. Sorry. Okay. I will. So the Devil's Bargain is an extra die, and
they are going to cement this organization and treat you as the leader, including like telling other people that you're the leader,
regardless of what my die result is.
Yes.
And that's 2 stress.
No, that's just the Devil's Bargain. You get a bonus die in exchange for that result. No stress.
Oh, and I'm like, Cataby is the recognized leader then at that point, is what you're saying.
Yep. Or at least they'll tell people that if anyone asks.
There's just like internal dialogue in Cataby's head, and it could be really good for the new establishment. It could also be bad for business. And then I like look to my right, and there's no one there, but on my shoulder is this little Cataby devil. And I'm like, all right, I'll take it. So roll 1 more, right?
So you're gonna get 1 for that, and if you want to spend a foresight, you could roll 2 more even if you want, and pile it on.
I'm not gonna pile both on, but I'll pile at least 2 more d6.
Well, he's saying
Boom.
You're using 1 foresight and the Devil's Bargain.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
And there you go. You got your 6. Nicely done. And a 2. It's a lot of 2s.
Dude.
But that don't matter because you got a 6. Bam.
So as it is, the revolution is happening. They're gonna wait, and I am the leader.
That is correct.
Great.
It's obvious to you that you made this big impression on them before when you rallied the mob, and then you kind of disappeared for a little while, and the mob apparently just continued, and now the mob leadership council or whatever has shown up for instructions from their leader. And your instructions are wait for my orders. Is that what that's the?
Yeah, and then maybe I add one other thing, and I kind of explain that, like, if word comes from the man they call Careless, the beast that is Aldo, and the mysterious rune, that they too shall listen to their orders.
Oh, interesting. I think you blow their minds a little bit there with that revelation that you know those people, and that like you're connected to them because they all have their own kind of reputations, right? And so you can see them like piecing that together in their head, where they're just like, oh wow, this is more than we even thought it was. What's going on? So yeah, they what they want to do is buy you drinks for the rest of the night and hang out with their leader, who they think is really cool, and talk to you and stuff. Do you indulge them in their friendliness, or do you like keep yourself separate? You're like, no, I have to leave. I have to.
No, I probably have to. I really want to, but I'm going to be driven by the artifacts at this moment.
Gotcha. All right. You disengage yourself.
Yeah.
They don't press it.
Be done.
No. They take you seriously as the leader, and so they're like, oh yeah, okay. We'll wait for your word then.
Great.
Yep.
And then the only other thing I would like to do is, I guess actually, I would like to learn more about the necklace and how I could utilize it.
Yes, the Flava Flav Clock of Destiny. Yeah.
Yes. And also, if I could empower someone else to be able to use it.
Ooh, interesting. So I think the latter is a long-term project.
Okay.
And the former is a downtime, or that is just a gather information role, which is not a downtime activity. Like you can do it for free.
Okay.
So you can do both of those if you want to finish out your downtime with
All right. Yeah. Let's do that.
Okay. So empowering someone else, that's pretty freaking tricky. I'm going to say that's a 8 clock. And let's do a study roll. And see how much progress you make, and then I'll tell you what you know about using the artifact.
Okay. Just a control
Just control standard, yeah.
And this is, I do get connected.
This
so
is
I have
information, yes.
+1 result level. Okay.
Yep.
Yes.
Ooh, that's a crit for you. Nice.
Wow.
So that fills 5 of your clock.
Damn.
Nice. Empower. I'm gonna make a note before I forget. Empower artifact for like in general for other people, or like how to impart the use to it to a specific...
I guess like so I know that someone else was using it, and I also like what I know about the artifacts is that typically, right, at least I believe that sort of a person has to be attuned to it or have the ability, right? So
right.
My thought is like, well, if he was using it, then maybe there's a way to just sort of like through me activate it with someone else.
Gotcha. Yes, that is possible. You know it's possible because you saw Dunville using it. And so first of all, you basically know it. Once you get back to the library, you're able to confirm kind of what you know based on how Dunville was using it with Careless. And then you go to your books and find drawings and shit that help you hone in on what it is. The artifact is called the Eye of Kotar. And you know that that's a bit of a misnomer, especially with a crit here. It's called the Eye of Kotar, but you know that there isn't one of these things. There are many, or multiple, not a whole bunch, but there's at least 6. And there's old drawings of some crazy sculptural statue thing. It's like a reconstruction of an archaeologist or anthropologist, a rendering of what it must have been like. This is kind of like if we in our world were thinking of some ancient Babylonian temple or something. It's like someone drew like what it might have looked like in the past. You find a drawing of this strangely carved crouching beast creature, and this eye piece, these 2 metal plates with the jewel in the middle, are arrayed fanned around the beast's head as if it has multiple eyes on its head. And you can tell, like, oh yeah, this would fit into that statue just right. So like that, this is one of those things. This must be one of the eyes. And in legend, in the fables, in the stories, the great hero Kotar, who the artifacts are named for, because this person used them supposedly, not created them. It was with the Eye of Kotar that Kotar was able to command demons. That with the Eye, according to fables, a demon must obey what the wielder commands. So in like mechanical terms, more or less, Rune has an ability as a whisper called Compel, where she can order ghosts around because she's a whisper and she has that power. This is like Compel for demons, basically.
Okay.
As long as it's touching your skin, your commands are good and must be followed to the letter. So be careful how you word them. And
all right.
When the artifact is not touching your skin, whatever commands you've given are no longer in effect. So once it's on, the commands are in play, and then if you ever like let go of it or drop it or whatever, then all of that stops and the compel ends.
Okay. Great.
And and you made progress towards empowering someone else. You don't know how to do it yet, but you some old books and sets of rituals that Rune might be able to do that would allow either the transference of usage to someone else, or potentially a way to let multiple people control the thing at once. But you're certainly on the path of like, you could give it to somebody and transfer ownership to them or whatever. You didn't have to do that though. For whatever reason, Miss Cataby is special. It's just yours now. You didn't have to attune to it or whatever. Like Dunville, it was attuned to him, but when you took it, you just got it for free.
Right.
So
right.
That's just because you're special. But there is a way to transfer the usage to someone else.
Yeah, sure.
So what are you going to do with it? You have the heart, which is now like cooled down to this sort of black crystal heart-shaped rock, and you have the artifact. They're in your satchel in the lair right now. Do you want to keep them on your person and like walk around with them all the time, or do you want to put them somewhere? Or what are you doing?
No, I'm probably gonna put them somewhere safe.
You guys
I guess in my little laboratory.
Let's see, the crew. Yeah, you guys got the vault, expanded vault. You actually have room in the secure vault at the base currently, if you want to put something there to be like locked down in a safe or something. You could, or you could hide it in your room or whatever you want to do. But.
Yeah, let me hide it. I'll just put them in my room where I've been storing the other stuff and I'm not using it.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Sweet. Any more downtime activities that we need to deal with? Yes.
I think, Aldo and I are going to take a stress because we did not indulge our vice.
I also have calculating, so I can give someone an extra downtime action if they need it. Just heads up.
I was at a 3, so I don't want to overindulge. So I'm just going to take.
Yeah, and I'm going to not indulge my stress either. I'll take 1 for my trauma. But I am going to do 2 things. 1 is easy. I'm just going to train my resolve.
Cool. How does Aldo train his resolve? What's that like?
I think. Well, the only way that he really knows how is to pore over the texts and the books, and he may venture out into the city to see if anybody is into, or just to see who knows more than him about the subject and that kind of stuff. And
yeah,
I kind of want to keep it to myself, being that I might want to contact my sister without letting Rune know about it.
Mm-hmm.
Because she advised me against it, and I might have to do it behind her back.
Uh-huh.
So I'm going to go out and just kind of quietly see if there's anybody who is like an occultist or something like that I could possibly borrow some books from, or, have tea with.
Quellen probably knows someone, right?
Oh, Quellen definitely knows somebody.
Okay.
Yeah, her friend Oscar is like she is like a serious whisperer.
Okay. Cool.
And she's mentioned him before, actually. She confessed to you, like, "Oh, I work for this other gang. I'm so sorry." Remember that?
Right. Yeah.
Oscar's in that other gang, and he's like their whisperer. And
is this gonna put her in any danger if I talk to him?
No, they're good friends.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And he's cool. He's a kid. He's like 15 or something. But yeah, you can go talk to him and about that kind of stuff. And he knows. He's weird. He dresses like a bird, kind of. He wears like this weird crow feather cape and like plague doctor mask, kind of with a beak, kind of thing, like that. And Quellen tells you before you meet him, like, he's a little bit eccentric. He's a noble, and they're weird, and they like to dress up and do weird shit. So just try not to stare.
Okay.
But yeah, he talks to you briefly, and he knows there's like this like an underground bar club place in Duskwall where people and ghosts go to hang out together. It's like a whisper bar, and that's he would point you in that direction too, if you wanted to consort with ghosts out behind Rune's back. That's the best place to do it.
Okay. That's what I will do then.
Okay.
I just want to learn as much as I can about contacting the other side, reaching through the ghost veil to communicate with anybody.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you get 2 XP in Resolve.
Okay.
And I assume you're not telling Oscar anything like specific, right? You're not like, hey man, here I'm trying to contact my sister. Da, 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 da. It's kind of, are you being sort of vague about it, or?
Yes, I'm being as secretive as I can about it. Yeah.
Okay. So we don't need to play a whole scene or anything. He doesn't offer specific instructions or anything like that. He just knows that you and Quellen are an item, and he's Quellen's friend. So he kind of looks at you through his weird bird mask and is like, yes, I know a place. I will show you the place. Come with me. And he takes you to the club, and you rub elbows with weirdos and ghosts in this underground bar, which is
perfect.
It's in Crowsfoot. Yeah.
Perfect.
I'll take that reaction off you, Marcus, if you're okay to give it away.
Yeah, sure, I am.
I'd like to work on the clock of finding a lead on Satara.
Okay.
I've never done that. What role do I make?
It depends on what you're doing. How are you pursuing?
Skirmishing? Obviously, I'm like fighting my pillow, just punch dancing my rage out in a wooded glen, I think. No.
I'm gonna get you.
I guess consort with. I don't think it'd be She Who Slays in the Dark, right? Is there any other?
You could.
I fucking try to consort with Satara herself.
You could try that too.
Obviously a bit dangerous, perhaps even desperate.
It would certainly be desperate and could result in her doing stuff that you don't like.
Can I could I potentially assist with this as a person who also has a cultist?
Yeah. Let's let's not gloss over this. Let's have a moment of a scene. Like, how does that happen? Where are you? And I'd like to hear that conversation. Are you back at the lair?
Yeah, I think so. Right, Maru?
Yeah. So I had indulged my vice and then talked to the Dimmer sisters, and I'm kind of just hanging out at the by the camp or by the fireplace at the library.
Okay. I just kind of saunter over and sit down, and he's trying to look casual, but it does not work at all. He's incredibly upright and still beaming, smiling, and looking at the fire, and looks back at you and is like, well, I'm going to be very blunt. I need to find a lead on Satara to speed up the whole timeline of tracking her down and extracting my abilities back from her. Do you think you could help with that?
And I was reading a book, and I put it down, and I look at Carolus, and I just say, all right, do you have anything in mind?
I do. There is, of course, the angle of speaking to She Who Slays in the Dark, but she's not quite as smitten with me right now, as she understands that I don't so much as serve her as hope to use her for my own personal gain. So if we could avoid that, I think on an equally dangerous but perhaps exciting route, we could just try and attune directly to Satara to figure out where she's at and what she's doing. It's incredibly dangerous, of course.
Never been one to shy away from danger.
Very good, Rune. I love you. This is going to be great.
I admire you as a friend, Carolus.
He looks very pleased with himself, and he's like, you're the first one to call me a friend.
Yeah.
What? Come on now.
Yeah, technically a lie, but I think
I believe Aldo said specifically he doesn't have any friends.
He may have said that. Yeah, it's complicated. You guys, your Facebook status is it's always. But it is.
So attempt and attune to Satara then?
Well, I mean, that sounds like a thing you could just say, but how the hell do you do that? What do you? I mean, obviously Rune knows about this, but
Yeah.
when you guys are like, let's attune to sitar, like, what do you do? What's the?
Can there be like a secret pond in the middle of like a fairy tree ring of, like, you know how there's like rings of trees sometimes? Yeah, with like a pond in the middle, because there's like a water demon, right?
She is a water demon. Yep.
Magical water pond.
Totally. There is. Oh Jesus. So.
Sounds good.
There's one that you know about. Like, I don't know how that we're going from like, oh, casual downtime action to like, holy shit, this is getting real.
With Marcus's reaction.
Here you go. Have fun with it.
Yeah, I've arranged for extra time for us. Go get yourselves killed. So, Rune, you've been at the tattoo parlor several times, and I think it was the last time you were there. Not the very last time when you just indulged, but like previously on Blades in the Dark. You were in the tattoo parlor chair, and the basement door was open, and Cyclops, their one-eyed like gang lieutenant, was hanging out, and you saw down the stairs into their basement. They had this like well or something built down in the basement, this like strange basin thing. And the bricks around the edge of the basin had like magic runes and stuff written on it around the thing. And when you're talking to Careless about this and like, oh, I want to think of a magic pool or something somewhere in the city, you know exactly where one is. Like, you don't even need to hunt around for one. You know that there's one in the basement of the tattoo parlor that you can use.
So you just like walk in there and use it? I don't have to like ask anyone or like do it surreptitiously.
I mean, I think your impression is that they probably wouldn't like that. You could do it surreptitiously. You could ask Quellen to ask them or cover for you if you want her to like be your liaison with them. You could do it sneakily. You could. There's a bunch of ways you could approach it. I think just what you know from visiting there before is that if you just went there out in the open and just walked down the stairs, Cyclops or somebody would be like, whoa, hang on, what are you doing?
Can I consort with Quellen to get her to get us in there?
Yeah, you definitely can.
Cool. I will roll a consort.
Take a bonus die because she is your friend.
Position?
Control, standard.
Standard, 1 bonus die. 6.
All right. So the question is, what do you tell Quellen? When you talk to her, she's like, well, yeah, I mean, I can, sure, I can talk to them, but like, do you want to know what's going on?
You know, a bit of this and a bit of that. Just need to...
You sound just like Oscar. Jeez. No one ever tells me anything.
Maybe you can ask Aldo.
She gives you that look where she's like, oh, okay, fine. All right. I see how it is. Okay. You want to go in the basement? Sure. All right. So when you guys actually show up to do it, we need to take our break, so we're going to have to cut on this, but before we actually do it, when you guys show up, you see that she hasn't, it's obvious at the tattoo parlor that she hasn't told them that you're going to go down in the basement and use the magic pool. Like, that tactic must not have been something she thought she could get away with. So instead, you arrive to get tattoos, and she talks to Cyclops while this is happening outside. And it's a little shady because they're like, she's in this gang too, and they're her friends, but she totally trusts you, and she knows that it would just be like a kind of big mess too. It's one of those awkward social situations where like you don't want to tell one friend about what this other friend is doing, but you don't want to lie to your friend either, but you can't tell them because it's someone else's confidence, and It's like this awkward situation for her. But you hit with a 6, so she's doing it for you. She's like, I'll deal with Cyclops later. I'll come clean or whatever. It'll be fine. So she's taking a hit socially a little bit, like just internally, like it's awkward for her to do this, but you got a 6. She has no hard feelings or anything. She's like, yeah, Rune's my friend, and I know that this matters, so I'm gonna help her out. So you guys are left alone in the tattoo parlor. You're supposedly like looking for a tattoo for Careless out of their flash that they've got there to browse through. And when no one's looking, you go downstairs. And on that bombshell, let's take our break.
Let's do it.
Back.
All right, we got 1 more hour left here on Sunday's Blades, so get a drink refill, use the bathroom, whatever you need to do, because we got more coming up. Don't go away.